Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Boderry Elite reference BDA006. Boderry are currently running an Indiegogo campaign for this watch, and it's available in the first 100 pieces at the super early bird price of only €168. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with a piece. So the Boderry Elite comes in a black watch box, which is protected by this matte black cardboard outer sleeve, which one removes. This is the watch box itself, and as you can see, it is finished to a high standard in vinyl PVC plastic, flawless stitching throughout, and very nice presentation. So although it's a low tier piece, Boderry deserve full credit for producing a good quality watch box, and as you can see, the interior is also nicely finished with PVC vinyl plastic. As one would expect, the watch sits on a padded pillow cushion, which is also nicely finished. So in the base of the watch box there is a tray one removes, as you can see, and that is a compartment where one can store the polishing cloth and also the owner's instruction manual, which I'll now show you. So this is the owner's instruction manual, and it also details the terms and conditions of the 2-year international warranty. I think Boderry deserve full credit for including a 2-year warranty with the watch. Usually with low tier watches at this price point of only €168, the watches only come with a 12-month warranty, so to get a 2-year warranty is very good at this price point. And lastly, this is the branded microfiber polishing cloth. I always think it's a nice touch to get a branded microfiber polishing cloth irrespective of the price point of a piece. So with regards to the specification of the watch, this is the Boderry Elite reference BDA006. The watch is available in 3 case materials, silver, gold and black respectively, and it's also available in 3 dial colour options, matte black, matte white and also sunburst green. So of those 3 case material options and also those 3 dial colour options, this is my personal favourite, the silver case with the matte black dial. So the case is finished to a very high standard, as you can see, mirror polished throughout, 40mm case diameter. It has a 46.3mm lug to lug measurement, and it has a thickness of 9.3mm including the dome sapphire crystal, 20mm lug width. The leather strap is calf leather, and as you can see it has an alligator finish, finished to a very high standard, flawless stitching throughout, and it also benefits from a 2-button push deployment clasp, which is signed with Boderry and the brand emblem, as you can see. The 2-button push deployment is very well executed, and I really like the finishing. As you can see, the centre section is finished with pelage finishing, and Boderry really deserve credit for this, because pelage finishing isn't something one often sees in a low tier piece at only €168. It really is a credit that they've made this attention to detail included in the 2-button push deployment. Good foam resistance to the 2 triggers of the deployment and flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks. So it's a very well executed deployment clasp which works very well. Good positive click to the right hand and left hand portions, and it's polished to a flawless mirror finish throughout on the exterior of the 2-button push deployment, as you can see. So with regards to the case, it's solid 316L grade stainless steel, and the bezel is also solid 316L grade stainless steel, as is the crown and the screw down exhibition case back. So on the front of the watch it's glazed with domed sapphire crystal. Now the negative of the sapphire crystal is there is no AR coating, and as you can see it is a highly reflective piece with lots of glare. The hands, which are like dolphin style hands but they have a curved profile, they are highly reflective, as are the applied Arabic numerals. But however, the matte black dial does contrast very well with the silver applied Arabic numerals and also the curved hands. The subdial is sighted on the dial between the 8 and 7 o'clock position, and that does add interest to the dial. As you can see, it's nice to see the seconds hand sweeping around with a 4 Hz frequency. Date complication is at the conventional position of 3 o'clock, white date wheel with black Arabic numerals, clearly legible, and it contrasts very well with the matte black dial. I like the fact the dial isn't over-branded with text or specification. It simply says Boderry with a brand emblem at 12 and automatic at the 6 o'clock position. The domed sapphire crystal is very aesthetically pleasing, nice slight lip to it which projects above the mirror polished bezel, and it's just a beautifully finished sapphire crystal, absolutely gorgeous to look at. So really the only negative is the lack of AR coating, and that is something to consider. The push-pull crown is knurled finish, solid 316L grade stainless steel, signed with the Boderry brand emblem, and it is a manual wind movement. It's powered by the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B automatic, so it's an absolute pleasure to operate the manual wind complication. Pulling it out to the first click position is the quick set date complication. So if one rotates the crown clockwise, that advances the quick set date. As you can see, it works as one would expect. Pulling it out to the final click position on the push-pull crown is the time setting position, and I'm pleased to report that the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B is silky smooth to operate. It's got a nice firm resistance to the winding stem, and one can feel the resistance of the gears in the movement when rotating the hands clockwise or anti-clockwise to set the time, but it does work very well. Now, the disadvantage of the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B is it does have hand winding, but it doesn't hack. And as you can see, I've pulled out the crown to the time setting position, the final position, but the second hand continues to sweep around the subdial at a frequency of 4 Hz. It doesn't stop dead. So one cannot stop the movement dead to set the time precisely to the second with hacking. So that's something to consider if you like movements with hacking. Pushing it back in has a nice positive click, and it provides an effective hermetic seal to 50 meters of water resistance, which is perfectly acceptable for a daily wear piece. Screw down exhibition case back, beautifully engraved with specification, and we also have screws which are also mirror polished to a flawless standard. The centre section is glazed with mineral crystal, and it does an excellent job of displaying the movements, which is the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B automatic. Very beautifully decorated movement. I'm just going to open up the deployment to give you a closer look at it. As you can see, the bridges to the movement are decorated with milled stripes, and the lower bridges of the movement underneath the micro rotor are decorated with pelage finishing. So the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B is an incredibly beautiful movement to look at. As you can see, when I tilt it in the light, you can see the milled stripes on the bridges. The engraving is beautifully done, and also the pelage finishing is beautifully done. Also like the milled stripes on the micro rotor, and it's beautifully laser engraved with the Boderry brand emblem. So the attention to detail throughout is exceptional. The quality of the finishing to the Caliber 5000B is 10 out of 10. It's absolutely flawless. So it's an absolute pleasure to look at the micro rotor, and it makes a refreshing change from a manual wind movement or alternatively a movement with a conventional full-size rotor. At this price point, it's very unusual to see a micro rotor used on a movement, and it's just an absolute pleasure to look at. It's the kind of movement finishing one would expect to see on a mid-tier or high-tier piece. One doesn't often see pelage finishing and milled stripes on the bridges of a micro rotor movement at this price point, and I think Boderry deserve full credit for it. The Hangzhou Caliber 5000B is a reliable, well-proven workhorse movement. So with regards to the specification of the movement, it runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. So I like 4 Hz movements because they have a smooth sweep to the second hand, and 4 Hz is the perfect compromise between accuracy and power reserve. It has a 42-hour power reserve, which is perfectly acceptable, 30 joules, hand winding, but there is no hacking, as I've discussed. The stated accuracy of the Caliber 5000B is plus or minus 20 seconds per day. Now, Boderry regulates the movement in 5 positions, and I'm pleased to report that this one is very well regulated to plus 8 seconds per day, which is certainly well within the plus or minus 20 seconds per day stated accuracy of the Caliber 5000B. To get plus 8 seconds per day at this price point of only €168 really is exceptional, and Boderry deserve full credit for that. Absolutely beautiful to look at. The underside to the calf leather strap is well finished. As you can see, it's genuine leather, 20mm. The stitching is flawless throughout. It's nice and supple, and I'm sure that when it's broken in, it's going to become even softer and more supple on the wrist. Very comfortable strap to wear. So I'll give you a wrist shot, and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now, I have adjusted the strap to the second hold position, and as you can see, it's just a fraction too short for my 8-inch wrist to engage the end of the strap with the 2 keepers. There are 2 keepers on the strap, one fixed, one slide, as one would expect. So if the strap was just a fraction longer, it would fit my 8-inch wrist. But however, for the majority of collectors with a 6 to 7-inch wrist, this leather strap is going to be the perfect fit. As you can see, the 40mm case perfectly balances the 20mm lug width. They have got the proportions of this piece correct. 46.3mm lug-to-lug measurement means that it fits around the wrist very snugly. Very comfortable piece to wear due to the flat mineral screw down exhibition case back, and the curved profile to the lug. So it's a very comfortable piece to wear for long periods of time, such as 8 to 12 hours per day. Now, one thing I really like about this piece, although it's an automatic movement with a micro rotor, it's only 9.5mm thick, including the domed sapphire crystal. And really, that's the kind of thickness one would expect to see on a quartz-powered piece, or alternatively a manual wind piece rather than an automatic. So that is the benefit of using a micro rotor rather than a full-size rotor. It allows the movement to be made slimmer, and therefore it can be housed in a slimmer, lower profile case. So 9.5mm really is exceptional. If this were an automatic movement with a full-size rotor, it could well be in excess of 12mm. So the 9.5mm is very low profile, and it will easily slip underneath a shirt cuff if you wear business shirts, therefore making this piece an ideal daily wear piece. It's only 77 grams of heft, so it is an incredibly lightweight piece on this calf leather strap, and it really does feel weightless on the wrist, and the point clasp is also very low profile and very comfortable. So if you like watches that have good feel good factor and also good comfort level, this will suffice. Very comfortable, very low profile, relatively short lug to lug measurement of 46.3, so if you're a collector with a smaller wrist of 6 to 7 inches, you will find the comfort level and feel good factor to be sublime. Nice trigger action to the 2-button push deployment. Good positive click, opens very easily, and I like the fact they've used a deployant rather than the cross-cutting measure of a buckle and tang, and that's something I think Boderry deserve full credit for, because a buckle and tang would have been significantly less expensive to produce than this 2-button push deployant with pelage finishing to the interior. And it's a credit to them because it is a very well made 2-button push deployant clasp, and it certainly does look better than a buckle and tang. It gives the watch a more high quality feel. So, lastly, I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price points. So this is available, the first 100 pieces, for the super early bird price of only €168, and then the price will increase after those first 100 pieces are sold. At €168, yes, it is excellent quality, and yes, it is excellent value. Boderry deserve full credit for producing a very well executed piece. The quality control, the build quality, and the case finishing throughout is outstanding. The finishing of the movements, the Hangzhou Caliber 5000B, is absolutely beautiful. I love the beautiful engraving, the milled stripes, the pelage finishing to the lower bridges, and the milled stripes to the micro rotor. It's a reliable, well-proven workhorse movement, plus or minus 20 seconds per day is perfectly acceptable, and it has hand winding. So really the only negative to the piece is the lack of the AR coating on the underside of the sapphire crystal, but however, one has to expect some cost-cutting measures in order for Boderry to be able to produce this piece in low quantities and retail it at the low price of €168 on the Indiegogo campaign. So I think it is acceptable. Overall, I think it's an outstanding piece, and I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Boderry Elite reference BDA006. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.